The galaxy had forgotten what fear felt like. For centuries, the arena of Dominion had stood as the final proving ground, a coliseum where wars were won not by fleets, but by flesh. Hundreds of species sent their finest, genetic titans, biomechanical warlords, creatures forged in the cores of dead stars. Champions who shattered bones for sport and killed with artistry. No one had ever seen a human step into the ring. Until today. He didn't arrive in an armored pod. No retinue. No fanfare. Just a man, walking out of a steel dropgate, alone. Combat boots hitting alien stone. No armor. No augmentations. A black combat suit, dusty from the long march through the pit tunnels. Dog tags tucked into his collar. Back straight. I was like a scope, focus cold still. His name was Jack Reeve. A Navy SEAL. 47 combat ops. 9 beyond Earth jurisdiction. Records classified. Scars hidden beneath a plain expression. The galaxy saw man. What they didn't see was everything behind that silence. Years of fire. Of blood. Of surviving when no one else did. The arena roared. From a stands, 100 alien warlords watched. Slaver princes in silk. Hive queens in gleaming chitin. Warlords made of pure plasma. They expected a spectacle. A human crushed in seconds. A reminder to Earth of its place. Last. Inside the pit, combat beasts emerged from their gates. 10 of them. Each one a nightmare. Towering forms, muscles coiled like starship cables, bone armor laced with venom. Their names were whispered on death worlds. Gladiators grown, not born. Some had never lost. Some had never been scratched. They laughed when they saw him. Growls in a dozen tongues. The Zergak brute smashed its fists together, cracking stone. The Bladehound licked the edge of its own weaponized tail. To them, Jack was a warm-up. He kept walking. Slow, measured steps toward the center. The dust swirled at his boots. The ground, stained with the blood of thousands, didn't bother him. Neither did the stench of death in the air. He'd smelled worse in Kandahar, in orbit above Titan, in jungle caves where breathing too loud meant your squad died. Jack stopped in the center of the arena, rolled his shoulders once, then went still. The arena master's voice echoed, translated into every dialect. Begin. No movement. The beast hesitated. For a moment, just a flicker, it didn't rush him. He wasn't posturing. He wasn't afraid. He was quiet. Dead quiet. Every muscle coiled. Every breath precise. Eyes tracking everything. Not just the obvious threats, but the subtle ones. The twitch of claws. The weight shifts. The small signs predators miss when they think they're the apex. That silence made them hesitate. One beast snarled and charged. The smallest, eager for glory. It closed the distance in 4 strides. Jack didn't move until the last second. A twist, a duck, an elbow into the throat, followed by a sweep to the legs and a boot to the skull as it fell. The beast collapsed. Limp. The arena didn't cheer. They didn't know how to process what they'd just seen. Jack stood again calm. Just one breath heavier. The other beast shuffled. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. They circled him now. Warier. He'd just killed a creature designed to kill. Without effort. No weapons drawn. No power used. From the stands, murmurs spread. A hive queen tilted her head. A Core War monk leaned forward. Jack didn't speak. He didn't need to. Inside his mind, the mission was simple. Don't die. Make them remember. Leave scars on their pride. This wasn't about Earth's honor. This wasn't about diplomacy. This was payback. For the Deep Space Station raided 2 months ago. For the humans abducted, dissected, laughed at. Jack had seen the footage. The screams. The arrogance in the warlord's eyes as they turned human suffering into sport. Now he was the sport. But they'd made one mistake. They invited a predator into the cage and assumed it was prey. The beasts moved again. A tighter circle. One twitched. Another pawed the ground. Jack turned slowly, sizing each up, calculating. He didn't feel fear. He hadn't felt it in years. Fear died somewhere between the underwater kill house and the night op that left half his team in pieces. He carried them all now, ghosts on his shoulders. He wasn't alone in this ring. Not really. Another beast stepped forward, larger, covered in plasma tattoos that pulsed as it growled. It raised a weapon, a jagged blade pulsing with toxins. Still, Jack didn't reach for his. He didn't need to. Not yet. He cracked his neck once, tilted his head. The beast lunged. Time bent. Jack stepped into the swing. Too close for the blade to matter. Grabbed its wrist, twisted, broke it with a crunch. Drove a knee into its chest. Slid behind it. A precise nerve strike at the base of the skull. Down. The rest froze. This time, Jack looked at them. Just for a second. Not with rage. With calculation. He wasn't here to fight. He was here to demonstrate. In the stands, silence deepened. A warlord whispered something to his aide. The aide blinked. He's not enhanced. No, the warlord murmured. He's trained. Another beast stepped back. Then another. Jack didn't move. He just waited. Because this wasn't the hard part. The hard part came next. The galaxy had no word for what they were feeling. Not yet. Confusion bled into unease. From the gilded balconies to the shadowed pits, they watched the lone human stand unbothered, surrounded by monsters that had crushed entire species. Not a single muscle in his body tensed. It wasn't arrogance. It was certainty. In a luxury box high above, a Tsar noble turned to his advisor. Why do they not attack? He is unarmored. Alone. The advisor, one of the more learned, whispered, they don't understand what they're seeing. Down below, one of the beasts growled, but it didn't charge. Its instinct screamed that something was off. It had fought 100 times, killed 1,000 foes, but never had one stood this still. Not in defense. Not in fear. Just still. Another shifted its weight, testing the air. The human smelled wrong. Not of adrenaline or panic. Not a prey, but a control. A predator cloaked in simplicity. The Xixian bladehound stepped forward, blades clicking into place from its wrists. 10 feet tall, lean as a razor, bred to kill. It snarled a challenge and circled Jack, each step a performance of death. It lunged fast. Jack didn't dodge. He stepped into the attack again, letting the beast's own momentum betray it. A trap laid in the open. A redirection of force. A strike to the joint. A slam to the spine. The beast crumpled before its second move. Still no weapons drawn. Still no words. In the observation deck, a tactical AI monitoring the match recalculated its risk assessment. Previously labeled non-threat, Jack's profile was now marked unquantifiable. Across the galaxy, feeds streamed to billions. Some laughed nervously. Others leaned closer. But on worlds with warriors, true warriors, silence held. They recognized something ancient in the man's movements. Something they hadn't seen in centuries. One of the largest beasts, the Kravox Enforcer, let out a guttural bark and signaled the others. They formed a semicircle. Enough of this. Time to swarm. Together, they charged. Jack moved. The calm vanished. He shot forward, not away, but toward the closest. A slide under its swing, a rising elbow shattering a jaw. The second beast swung. A spinning kick caught mid-motion. Jack twisted, broke the knee, used the collapsing weight as cover from a tail strike behind him. 3 down, 2 more flanking. Jack shifted his weight, caught one's wrist mid-swing, redirected the blade into the neck of the other. Used the same blade to cut the first. None of this was choreographed. None rehearsed. It was instinct sharpened by thousands of hours of live fire. Hand-to-hand, CQB, environments where mistakes were fatal and success meant silence. He didn't grunt, didn't shout. His breathing remained steady. Across the arena, the crawled juggernaut watched. It hadn't moved yet. 7 combat beasts now lay motionless. Some dead, others broken beyond repair. The remaining 2 hesitated. One made a sound, barely a growl. Not defiance. Uncertainty. They looked to the crawl for command. It said nothing. Jack turned his head slightly toward them. Not a threat. Not a plea. A question. Are you done? One step back. The other followed. They were born to kill. But killing required intent. And right now, their intent had been stripped. Not by power, but by something worse. Humiliation. Above, alien analysts debated what they were seeing. Words like outlier, aberration, and biological anomaly circulated in hushed tones. A Gorth tactician tapped a claw against his datapad and muttered, "He's rewriting the scale." In a diplomatic box, an Earth ambassador leaned forward. "They thought our weakness was our flesh," he said. "They forgot our will." There was no applause, no cheering, just silence. The crawled juggernaut stepped forward, 8 feet tall, 4 arms, muscle and metal grafted seamlessly. A living siege weapon. It wasn't bred to win. It was bred so no one else could. It looked at Jack, not with hatred, with assessment. This wasn't about pride anymore. This was now a duel between the best the galaxy had to offer and the thing they'd overlooked. Jack met its gaze. Finally, his hand went to the blade at his back. Standard issue. Steel. Human-made. Nothing fancy. He drew it slowly, respectfully. The crawl nodded once. In that moment, the crowd understood. This wasn't a fight. This was recognition. 2 warriors. One proving ground. Jack knew he could die. The crawl knew it might lose. But neither would walk away. And that was the point. They moved toward each other, steps heavy in dust. Every eye in the galaxy fixed on what came next. Not a clash of species, but of ideals. The moment their feet moved, the air shifted. The crawl came fast, faster than its size should allow. 4 arms moving in perfect synchronization, each one a weapon of bone and steel. Jack didn't retreat. He closed distance, ducked under the first blow, sidestepped the second, turned into the third. The fourth connected, a glancing strike, but enough to send him skidding back. Pain registered. He let it pass. Pain was data. He adjusted. The crawl pressed forward. A flurry of strikes that could shatter vehicles. Jack deflected what he could, absorbed what he couldn't. His knife flashed once, twice, one cut to the wrist, another to the thigh. Shallow but precise. The crawl growled. Blood, thick and dark, ran down its leg. This wasn't dominance. It was testing. Each gauging the other, neither giving everything. The crowd leaned forward. The other beasts didn't move. They weren't competitors anymore. They were witnesses. Jack shifted position, controlling the ground, forcing the crawl to circle. It wanted a brute fight. Jack refused. He used his size, smaller, lighter, faster. Controlled tempo. Bled it. One cut at a time. The crawl changed tactics. Grabbed a fallen blade and threw it. Jack ducked. Another arm launched a shockwave punch into the earth. Jack jumped, avoided the crater, used the airborne moment to roll over its back, knife dragging deep across a shoulder. It roared. Jack hit the ground on one knee. He felt a sharp pulse in his ribs. Bruised, possibly fractured. He ignored it. He remembered close quarters in 0G. A hostage rescue that went sideways. Breathing through a cracked mask, vision blood-blurred. He won that fight, not because he was stronger, but because he refused to stop. The crawl charged again, now reckless. Rage creeping in. Jack used that. He let it commit. Rolled under a hammer strike. Drove his elbow into its jaw. Used the force to launch upward. Knife plunging into its clavicle. It swung hard. He was hit. Launched across the arena. Bones rattled. Vision narrowed. He got up. Slow, steady. The crawl turned, panting now. Its movements less fluid. One arm hung loose. The other, 3 bloodied. Jack walked toward it, limping. Knife reversed in hand. The crawl rushed again. Desperate. Jack fainted low, then stepped inside. Too close for swings. Knife into the side. Twist. Knee into stomach. Elbow to jaw. Knife up under the chin. They both. The crawl stood motionless. Its limbs shook, hydraulic veins stuttering. Blood spilled down its chest, pooling around Jack's boots. The human held the knife deep under its chin, unmoved, eyes steady. Then he withdrew it, clean and efficient. The crawl dropped to its knees, not in defeat, in acknowledgement. Jack stepped back. The arena held its breath. No roar followed. No triumphant scream. Just silence, thick as iron. The greatest champion among the beasts had bowed its head. The others followed, one by one, without command. Creatures born for conquest, bred for war, fell to submission. Not to power, to principle, not to destruction, to discipline. This wasn't a victory. It was a redefinition. Jack looked around the arena. Nothing in his face said pride. No expression at all. He wasn't here for celebration. His job wasn't to be admired. It was to send a message. In the stands, the warlords didn't speak. For the first time in centuries, the arena had been silenced not by death, but by restraint. One man, one blade, 10 monsters. He hadn't destroyed them. He had dismantled their belief. The arena master stood, trembling. "Human, what is your demand?" Jack didn't answer immediately. He let the weight of silence linger. He walked toward the center, where the blood had dried into black lines, where thousands had died for spectacle. He planted the knife into the ground. "I want you to remember." The words echoed through translators across 1,000 languages. Some couldn't comprehend the tone. Others did and felt shame. "Remember that we let you build this. We watched. We listened. We waited. You thought we were weak because we didn't answer. You mistook patience for cowardice." He paced slowly, voice even. "You abducted our people. You showed them screaming in your broadcasts. You called entertainment. You said humans were soft, that we had no honor, that we were beneath your wars." His eyes swept the elite. "You were wrong. No threat, no demand for tribute, just truth. We don't send warriors to impress you. We don't breed killers in tubes. We train. We suffer. We endure. And when the time comes, when someone crosses a line, we send a reminder." He nodded toward the knife. "Next time, we won't send one." Then he walked. No victory pose. No words wasted. Just footsteps over stone and blood. The gates opened for him. Across the galaxy, the implications burned. Warlords paused their campaigns. Races that had ignored Earth now studied its history. Every intelligence network replayed the footage on loop. Debriefings, translations, simulations. Analysts reclassified human threat levels. Generals rewrote contingency plans. But the most profound change wasn't in politics or military doctrine. It was fear, not of destruction, of something worse, humiliation. The realization that humans didn't need armies to defeat you. One was enough. If trained, if driven, if unshaken. In underground circles, the footage became legend. On death worlds, recruits watched it in silence before their trials. Among elite warriors, Reeve protocol became code for facing the impossible without retreat. On Earth, Jack disappeared. No interviews, no parades, just a name whispered through special units, passed quietly between command groups. His record remained sealed. The mission classified, but those who needed to know knew. The galaxy had sent its monsters. Earth had sent a man, and the monsters had bowed.